As dusk settled across the famous arch, Washington Square Park looked just like any city park, but a closer
Residents have been complaining about loud music, lots of trash, and bad behavior.
NYPD held an emergency meeting tonight over the ongoing problems at Washington Square Park.
Inside this nearly 10 acres of property paints a much different picture.
What's really going on in Washington Square Park?
Cue the music.
This is Washington Square Park in New York City. On Wednesday nights during the hot New York summer, New Yorkers get together and ask each other to dance.
When I was first asked to go, I almost said no because it seemed way out of my comfort zone, and it was. Then when I got there, I couldn't help but wonder what everyone's story was. So I found out.
And what brings you to Washington Square Park? What's your dream? And what have you learned more broadly about life through social dancing?
First of all,
And it was terrifying walking up to these strangers and asking them if I could pull them aside for a conversation. What I learned from each person made it so worth it, and I got to connect with these people momentarily in the park that day. I can't wait for you to see what they said.
Okay, what's your name?
I'm Prit. Edward.
My name is Daniel Bond, but not James Bond.
And what brings you to New York?
For a better life, my dream.
For your dream? What's your dream?
To buy a house, to get an education.
So what brings you to Washington Square Park?
I'm Peruvian, so I just wanted to have some salsa while in the summer, and I just came here to have a little piece of home.
What specifically do you like about the park and like this experience? Because this is not experienced social dancers for the most part.
By the way, this is what Prit looks like social dancing. He knew what he was doing, which is partially why I was like a little hesitant to walk up to him because I didn't want to take him away from what he was doing. I was a little scared he'd be like, "Lady, I'm doing my thing. I just came here to dance. Can you leave me alone?" But he actually was so sweet and amazing.
I like that it's raw. I like that it's real New York.
Yeah.
I like that you meet people like Emily. And then the weather is, it's hot and humid, but I love it.
Yeah.
It's one thing that this part of the country has to offer that no other place can.
Yeah.
You can't find this anywhere else.
Yeah, no you can't.
This vibe, this temperature, this much culture, this much diversity. It's great to be part of the society. New York has many raw aspects to it, and this is one of the things that makes New York, New York.
And what have you learned more broadly about life through social dancing?
First of all, it's a great way to relax. It's a great way to get my mind off of whatever else is happening, work, life.
Yeah.
It's a great grounding mechanism. But it only happens if you really like the music, if it appeals to you. For me, it's how I get into my flow state. Some people run, some people read, some people knit, some people listen to music. For me, salsa can get me in a flow state, which is you're doing something and you lose track of time. So that's what it means to me.
Yeah.
And anything that could get me in a flow state is good for my mental, physical, emotional state.
Yeah, absolutely. And does this make you miss home, or does it make you feel more connected to home?
Both. I miss my home a lot, but also it's really nice to see Latino and non-Latino people get together, dance, and just have a nice time.
Yeah.
Edward actually asked my friend Penelope to dance, which you can peep in the back of my conversation with Danielle. It was so cool to talk to a student who had both a connection to my experience and Penelope's experience, and the experience of all the Latino people coming together to have a piece of home, as he said, dancing in the park that day. Just minutes before this conversation, Edward was a stranger to me, and because I had the courage to walk up to him and ask him about his experience, I was here getting pieces of wisdom from someone else my age who had a different background from me. I learned so much from these conversations, but we'll get to that. Let's continue.
What's one misconception you think a lot of people have about Latino culture?
That we are all the time like this happy, like people, super extra. Reality is that we go through a lot of stuff. A lot of us leave our homes to come to the US or whatever to get our dreams come true. But we always pull through. I feel like mainly my mother is always never give up, always look at people with respect, and don't let anybody talk down to you.
What advice do you have for young people?
Take your time, don't get angry, try to concentrate, dedicate a lot of time to your mother, your father. Once they go, You say, oh, I should have done that. Too late.
Yeah.
Dedicate a lot of time to your mom. We're getting old too soon and smart too late. Time go by so fast and we not pay attention. Don't get mad, don't get angry, just enjoy every minute because in life, you don't have plan B.
No, you
It's only
don't.
plan A.
You don't.
And that's it. Enjoy every minute.
What's one piece of advice that you would want to give to people watching this?
That despite hateful people out there, just push through, tell them that you're worthy of being a human being, of being alive, and always make time for family, friends, and just whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Try something that you've never tried before. Chances are you won't like it, but the upside of finding something that you like is so high. And it won't always be great from the very beginning. It wasn't for me, so when I look back at my South experience, the music really drew me in.
Yeah.
And then it kept me in. And now it's the music, it's the dance, it's the connections, it's everything. So salsa may not be for everybody, but there is something that anyone watching this hasn't tried before and will try it. It'll be awkward, it will be difficult at first, but then eventually you'll like it and then it stays with you for life.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
All of these conversations I had with everyone were only a few minutes long, but they all ended up giving me such gems to take with me as I went on with my evening. A few weeks before I found myself in the park that day, I read a really incredible book, actually written by Matthew McConaughey. You have these signs that you're going in the right direction that he calls green lights. Here's one quote I wanted to highlight in particular. This one I starred. We are all made for every moment we encounter. Whether the moment makes us or we make the moment. Whether we are helpless in it or on top of it, predator or the prey, we are made for that moment. Essentially, take life by the balls. You're also a stranger to everyone you pass on the street. You're also a potential threat. You're also maybe a weirdo, someone they wouldn't want to associate with, someone they wouldn't want to talk to. Events like this in Washington Square Park take up so much space in my mind and feel so special to me because they're bits of evidence that humanity still exists. Like, they're bits of evidence that we can still trust one another, love one another without knowing anything about one another. Everyone's life experience is just as complex and interesting and cool as yours. And you never know what a stranger you pass on the street or in the park has to offer in terms of wisdom or outlook or advice. Washington Square Park that day was a celebration of culture, it was a celebration of life, it was a celebration of New York, a celebration of people and of the summer. There was no judgment in the park that day. Everyone was just happy to dance with one another, happy to talk to one another. And sometimes you would meet someone and they would ask you to dance and you wouldn't even talk, you would just dance. And it's like, you didn't even need to have any verbal interaction to be able to connect and have that moment with one another. There's something so beautiful about that. What I witnessed in the park that day is a piece of humanity that we need more of. Being someone who was in high school during COVID, it was such a weird time. Getting used to the feeling of not socializing and not putting ourselves out there and becoming super comfortable with saying no to things, staying inside. I think it was a really detrimental time for people whose brains were still developing, for Gen Z, for young people, because that became our norm. And that shouldn't be the norm. The norm should be saying yes. The norm should be putting yourself out there. We need to do more. We need to find out. We need to have the courage to walk up to strangers. Everyone around you is a potential opportunity to make a friend, learn more about the world, learn more about yourself, have a new perspective. You could see these little conversations I had in Washington Square Park that day as like weird random street interviews where I was like interrupting these dancers trying to have a time in Washington Square Park. I'm always going to look back on these clips and see them as a time that I forced myself to say yes, that I overrode the voice in my head trying to keep me in my comfort zone and knew there was something out there for me. Washington Square Park is a celebration of life. It's a celebration of culture. That's why I love it so much. Just find out. Do more. Say yes, especially if you're young. Strike up a conversation with a stranger in the park, a stranger on the street. People want to talk to you more than you realize. People want to be talked to. It's my new mantra. Find out. Just find out. Edward, Prit, and Danielle, this video is dedicated to you. You guys are amazing. Thank you for being good sports when I pulled you away from dancing to ask you questions for my YouTube channel. Until next time, this is also my last full day in London. Met a lot of cool people, did a lot of cool things, said yes a lot. Very proud of myself. Okay, bye.
Bye.